hello, and welcome to the Feel Strong Fitness Podcast. My name is Justin McClintock, and today we're going to locate your why. What is a why? This terminology has been around for certainly about 15 years now. The idea is that you have inside of you a overarching goal, sometimes a combination of goals, but a big idea that is driving you. And this is especially relevant if you are making a change, if you're making a big commitment, if you're making an investment, whether that is pursuing a career or pursuing a relationship or taking on a project or starting a new fitness regime or adjusting your nutrition or changing things about your lifestyle. Typically, ideally, there's a big why. Why do we want a why? A number of reasons. Motivation can't be counted on. Discipline and habits can be built. But if there is not a strong, significant, compelling force behind it, we have found, and a number of my colleagues have found, that things don't last. Big ideas are great. Short-term motivation is exciting. But if you don't have your why, things are going to get very hard and will be more difficult to succeed. On top of that, I hear all the time from people that they feel like they've lost their why, or they feel like their why has changed, but they aren't really sure why it is. I know I started working out because of A, B, and C. I've either accomplished those things and or my priorities, goals, interests, values have shifted a bit. What am I doing now? I need help finding the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing, and or I need help finding the reason why I think I want to make a big change. And it's really important to find this. This is something we do on consult calls and in the DMs and just in conversations with friends, colleagues, clients, etc. all the time, because locating this stuff and uncovering it is incredibly important to the success of any major commitment, certainly any program. So I thought it might be useful to kind of step you through at least part of how we do this. We're not going to do the entire thing because that would take a while and be a lot of slightly strange hypotheticals, but I hope this will be useful. So generally, the folks we talk to have had some kind of setback and or facing significant obstacles. Maybe they used to feel fit and a number of things have gotten in the way and they don't feel fit anymore, and they are having a hard time finding their way back into fitness. A lot of folks we talk to have had an injury and or been suffering some chronic pain. There's also a big group of folks who keep trying things and it keeps not working and they don't know why. Because it's not a lack of effort. It's not really a lack of motivation, but it's not working. I believe, and we usually find, that uncovering that big why is part of finding the right direction for a lot of these people. So we spend a lot of time talking to people about this. If you get on a consult call with us, what do we talk about? Well, we spend a lot of time just asking about their situation. It is normal for me to say something as basic as, so tell me what's going on. And then I listen. And we are not just talking about fitness. We are talking about your life, your lifestyle, your stress, your relationships, your sleep, your commitments, your history, your injuries, your medical history. All of these things come up. We talk also a lot about perceived limitations and issues you feel you're having. What makes this hard right now? Oh, well, I've got this thing going on with my shoulder, and this is happening with my schedule, and work is like this, and my kids need a lot from me right now for a number of reasons, and so on and so on and so forth. We ask a lot of questions and we listen. And there is not a preordained map on this part of the consult at all. There's not really a map to the consult, but I don't have a destination because I don't know where it's going to go. I think it's really important. And if you're a coach or a business owner out there, I implore you to take on this part into your own business. Point of me talking to someone on a consult call and uncovering all this stuff with them isn't to sell them a program. At this point in the conversation, I have no idea whether or not it would be a good idea to sell them a program. I'm just listening. It is normal for me to talk to someone for a while, uncover that it would in fact be inappropriate for any number of reasons for me to sell them a one-on-one hyper-individualized program. and I refer them to someone else, another coach, another program, another class, a medical professional, a mental health professional, whatever the needs may be. So I don't have a destination. I'm just listening, and they talk and they tell me about their life, their lifestyle, their fitness, their stress, their commitments, their relationships, etc. Then we move on to goals. And it is, once I feel like I've gotten some clarity as to where they are right now, that's the next sort of logical question. One of them is, well, where do you want to be? So what do you want? And we get very, very specific here. The answer is not, well, I want to get in shape. Well, I want to be jacked. Well, I want to be pain free. Well, I want to lose some weight. Well, I want to feel better. Well, I want to, none of those things. That might be where we start. But we are going to dig and dig and dig. And again, ask a bunch of questions until we can at least uncover one. And often it's several. It's very normal for people to have kind of 3 to, 6 or 8 goals that they want. And we'll stack them and we may prioritize them. Oh, okay. So you want to be able to run with confidence. You wish you had more confidence in your body composition. You would like to have more daily energy so you can keep up with your kids. You want to sleep better because you think that's part of the limitation of you having daily energy. And you want to manage the stress that you encounter at work in a way that doesn't bleed over into everything else in your life. Is that right? Okay. What's the most important? And then we jig it around. We're not getting rid of any of them, but what's your number one priority? And we dig down on that. Once we've accomplished that goal, whatever it is, I want to be able to run with confidence. Right now, my knees hurt every time I run. I have no confidence in it. I want to be able to run again. Okay. Why is that? Getting really specific again. What would running mean to you? Why is running important? Well, because I've always run and it makes me feel happy. Running is my happy place. Okay. What about it makes you happy? Well, I just think it's amazing that I can put on my shoes when I decide to walk out the door and suddenly I feel like the city is mine. I'm moving around, going up and down paths. I feel incredibly free. Now we're really getting somewhere. So we started with, I just want to get in shape. And now we're talking about, I feel like I don't have freedom and I need freedom. Freedom is important to me. And I feel like it's something that has been taken away. I feel like it's something that has been lost. I want to be able to run with confidence because that's a marker to me of having true physical freedom. That's exciting. That's a compelling goal. Okay, that's big. That's huge. I can understand that you feel limited, you feel maybe trapped, you feel like things have been robbed from you. We want to give that back. It's now one, I never promise it's going to happen. If I ask more questions and do more assessments and believe that I have some certainty that we can really move in that direction, absolutely. I never promise someone that I can make their pain go away. I never promise someone that we can definitely hit their goal because lots of things have to happen. And the most important one is that person has to do the work. We talk about this all the time. It is actually in our contract that I will support you as much as I am possibly able. I will work and work and work and support and support and support. I will bring in others. I will do more research. I will reach out to my network. We will pivot on a dime. We will continue to adjust as much as necessary. But all I can do is bring you to that edge. You need to take the next step. If you agree to take those steps to the best of your ability, and that best will change day to day, week to week, month to month, that's expected. If you promise to bring 100% of your effort and try to the best of your ability to follow through with these things, I will also. These things always work together. So now we've uncovered a very compelling why. I want physical freedom. Amazing. Can you see, dear listener, the difference between I want physical freedom and I want to be fit? They're very far apart. Attaining physical freedom will very likely, in this case, definitely mean having some more physical fitness. That's great. Doing the program and doing all of the things that will be required to attain this physical freedom, will it also come with improved sleep? Yeah, It'll have to. We're going to have to focus on recovery and make sure that you're recovering. Will it come with improved stress management? Yeah, it will have to, because that's part of recovery. So we're going to talk about techniques, and we're going to do some breath work, and we're going to suggest some best practices for creating spots where you can recover, especially when you don't have control of all of the stress in your life. Will it work around and deal with your changing kids' schedules? Yes, it'll have to. This is a program built entirely for you. The schedule might move day to day, week to week, month to month. You might have 15-minute Mondays and 90-minute Saturdays. It might be 20 minutes 3 times a week. It might be completely different schedules at completely different locations throughout the week. That's okay. It's your life. We're going to find the way it fits. All of these things fit together and make sure that it works for you, because that's the only thing that matters, is that it actually works for you, right? The results are what we are after. We need that compelling why to do all of this reverse engineering. This is the place, by the way, what I'm talking about now, that a lot of coaches start from. Hey, my knee hurts, and my knee always hurts when I run, and I miss running. Oh, okay, great. I'm going to start. I think we can do some unilateral eccentric work and some foam rolling and some fascia release. And I'm going to time out. Time out. All of those things may well be part of the correct program. Entirely possible. If you don't spend the time locating the why, the thing won't work. The most perfect program in the world will not succeed without a compelling why, because real life is going to real life, and it will get in the way, and the kid's schedule will get crazy, and work is going to blow up, and a loved one is going to, something will happen, and your schedule will get nuts, and your sleep will be inconsistent, and nutrition will go off the rails sometimes, and stress will come and go, and some workouts will feel great, and some workouts will not feel great. And to be able to absorb all of this and deal with all of this, and it doesn't have to be a burden that you carry, but we need ways to deal and manage with all of this. It has to be part of the plan. That compelling why, overarching the entire thing, is a major part of it. So we have a why. We have a goal, big goal, maybe several goals. Important. I wasn't going to talk about this, but I think it is important. Then we start outlining benchmarks. And one of my favorite ways to do this, at least do part of this, is to ask, okay, so what would success look like? Let's say, my knee has hurt when I run for 5 years. I actually stopped running at all 2.5 years ago because it hurt so much. I say, okay, great. I don't know how long this process will take. I would be very surprised if it took 2.5 years to get back to where you were from, assuming we can do all of the things we want to do. But this isn't going to be, a 3-week process, very unlikely. Given that, what would success look like? What will it look like 30, 60, 90 days from now? What will be happening? What would you be able to do? What would you be feeling? What would be true to know that we're definitely on the right road? Because I want to keep you honest, and I want to keep me honest. And in 60 days, in 90 days, we're going to look back on this and say, okay, well, we said that if you worked 3 days a week for 6 weeks, we would expect to see at least these things start to happen. What would it be like? Oh, well, I want to run. I know for sure. I would expect that running without pain would probably take more than 45 to 60 days. Maybe not. But what would it look like? Well, I can't even do the stairs right now. Excellent. So being able to walk up the stairs without pain. What else? Well, I actually don't walk very far anymore anyways, because it starts hurting. Oh, so we could start walking some distances. What kind of distances are you walking right now? And I think you can see where I'm going with this, starting to uncover all the things that would be true. I would be able to sleep at least 6.5 hours a night. Are we happy with 6.5 hours? No, we probably want more. Is it a step up from where someone like I'm describing might be? Yeah, most likely. Edit. So we define some benchmarks. And I also lay out a couple of benchmarks, if they haven't already been mentioned or brought up, that I would expect to see. Okay, so, and again, getting really specific, you say you want to run without pain. Would you be happy to run 10 steps without pain? What do we mean? There's this 5K that happens in my town on St. Patrick's Day, and the dream would be to run that. Okay, excellent. So St. Patrick's Day is in March. We'll reverse engineer it. So we want to be able to run 400 meters by this date and 1200 meters by this date and a mile and a half by this date and so on and so forth. These are the things we're going to aim for. Next big question. So what obstacles do you see stopping us from getting there? What do you think is going to happen? What do you think could come up that is going to really throw a wrench in this program, knock you off course, make it not work? That's a magical question, friends. And I strongly suggest you ask yourself this and write it down, because you will be making a list of the reasons things haven't worked so far. Oh, well, I get bored and kind of stop doing the program and do something else. Okay, so compliance and consistency isn't great. What else? If I get injured again, if my knee starts hurting again, that's really scary and I might have to take a couple of weeks off. Okay, so injuries and setbacks. Understanding those might happen and having a plan for when an injury and setback happens. I strongly prefer assuming there's going to be an injury and setback and discussing what the plan would probably be when that happens. So we know we have a plan when we get there, and it doesn't just catch us by surprise as some out of left field catastrophe. What else? And just, I let them tell me, and you can let yourself tell yourself. I strongly suggest writing it down in some way, getting it down. What are the things that I think are going to stop me? Excellent. That's also a list from my end as a coach of the things I need to try and help the most with and be the most supportive with. Oh, so compliance is a real problem with you. I work with a lot of busy professionals. I work with a lot of busy moms. It's normal for my clients to maybe do workouts a little out of order, or it's Friday and Tuesday's workout hasn't happened yet, but I know that Tuesday's workout is probably going to happen on Saturday, so I'm not going to bug them about it. Are you someone who would like me to reach out if Tuesday's workout doesn't happen on Wednesday and ask why it hasn't happened and maybe help make a plan for what's going to happen with that? Now, the answer may be yes, the answer may be no. But finding the ways that I can most support and design a support system, and sometimes design the program, design the education we're going to deliver, design the other professionals we're going to have to pull in from our network to support this person in the way they most need to make sure this thing works to the best of its ability. Your why is a huge, hulking, great, big, stinking deal. And that is the overarching part of all of this, because there may come a point where you haven't worked out for 10 days and things are crazy at work and your kid's school schedule is nuts. And one of them just started playing travel ball and you didn't realize how much traveling you were going to have to be doing when they were on travel team, and money is getting a little bit tight. You're having some relationship strain. Sleep is kind of going out the window, and the program, the thing that you said you wanted to do, the big change, the big commitment, the big investment isn't happening. And we'll have a conversation. Hey, what's going on? And you'll tell me all of the excellent reasons. What happened? Exactly what happened. They aren't excuses, they're reasons. And then I will say, I understand. Everything you just described sounds very challenging, and like things are much more challenging now than when we started working together. Is it still really, really important to you to achieve that physical freedom we talked about? And if the answer is yes, now it's both of our jobs to find a way to make this work. And maybe the program looks completely different. Maybe the stimulus looks completely different. Maybe we need to change how we're working. Maybe you need to work in person with someone 1 day a week and with me 2 or 3 days a week. We need to find different ways we can do it. If it's still really important, we will both find a way to do it. If that why isn't really important, it is too easy, especially with all of the busy professionals and all the busy moms I work with who are overwhelmingly go-getters, but also overwhelmingly some version of a people pleaser / high achiever, where they put themselves last because they can carry everything. They can go a little harder. They can go a little longer. They can go a little faster. They know they can take it. So they're going to help everyone else out and make sure everyone is taken care of before themselves. If this why is really important, now they are on the same side of the table I am, moving forward to make sure it happens. I think that's what I have to say about whys. We could go deeper and deeper and talk even more about how we do kind of discovery consult work with people and what some of those conversations are like. If you're interested, I will either record a podcast or have that conversation with you. But taking time to unpack your why, where you are right now, especially if it's been a while, if you've been on a journey for a bit, taking time to unpack and relocate your why, especially if it's been a while, especially if you're not sure, especially if you feel a little bit lost, especially if you feel a little bit stuck, can be incredibly useful and literally freeing. My name is Justin McClintock. Feel strong. Thank you so much for listening to the Feel Strong podcast. If you want to reach out about solving your fitness problems, find us on Instagram at FeelStrongFit or apply to get started now on our website, feelstrong.me. Subscribing, rating, and sharing this podcast is an enormous help and has more impact than you know. Thank you for doing that if you're able. If you feel stuck, if you know where you want to go but you aren't sure how to get there, reach out. It's what we do.